All right, folks, we're back with this emergency podcast. Welcome to the Giant Insider Podcast, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook on the Believe Network. My name's Jerry Foley. I'm the senior editor of the Giant Insider newspaper, and with me, as always, is the beat writer, the heart of Giants Nation, nobody eats the biz, Chris Bizignano. So we're obviously here today because Black Monday occurred very, very early. Brian Daboll is out as head coach of the New York Football Giants. Mike Kafka is the interim head coach. I don't believe there have been any other changes, Chris. You'll address that probably. But look, if you asked me yesterday what were the chances that he would get fired before the end of the season, I would have said 50-50, just because of the number of double-digit losses, the embarrassing losses. Something had to change. The Giants made the change. We both thought he'd be out at the end of the year. They chose to do it earlier. Not too much of a surprise, but the way the Giants operate, a lot of times they wait, but they didn't. And here we are. And Mike Kafka is going to get his chance for these last 7 games to see, what he can do. And Joe Schoen is still the GM. I imagine they'll make that decision at the end of the year. But look, man, people want to hear from you on this one. So I will stop talking and go at it, buddy. Have at it.
That's it. You basically summed it up right there. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Come on. Not much more to say. I mean, the record.
Well, but Shane Bowen is still here. I mean, are you surprised by that?
No, not really. We'll see if that stays, but I'm not surprised by it. They just gave the job to Kafka, so let's see what Mike wants to do.
Yeah,
you might keep him on. He's a veteran coach and all that, or you might make the change. I suggest you make the change right off the bat. So
I would do it right away.
But he just, everybody found out this morning. Kafka was informed this morning. Daboll was informed this morning. They started to tell players. So, usually the first thing is they're like, I'm going to fire Kafka. Thank you for giving me the job. Now I'm firing Bowen. You know what I mean? No. So let that settle in. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing much more to say. The record speaks for itself. You just can't win 11 games in 2+ years. Actually, from basically towards the end of that first season, right? They were losing games at the end of the first season.
Yeah, they were 6-1 at one point that season.
I know they won a playoff game, but it's basically from that one point at the end of the regular season and the first season to now, just hasn't been good. From what I understand, the whole Jackson Dart thing, taking those hits, putting him in those structured runs and all that stuff didn't really fly when Jackson got knocked out there. Not knocked out, but left with the concussion. And I'm not quite sure how he's going to be looking for this week, from what I understand. But we'll see. We'll see if he progresses during the week. Look, you can't have these losses, man. Look, I thought they would wait the end of the season. I did. I know there's reports coming out about after the Denver game that John wanted him gone, and people are talking like everybody calm down, this and that. And I guess maybe John wanted him gone again after yesterday, and he couldn't get talked out of this one, or if anybody even attempted to talk him out of it, I don't know. But John's dealing with his own issues. So, look, Joe Schoen's not going anywhere. He'll be staying on. You don't want to upheave the whole organization. Firing a GM is not just firing the one person. It's a lot.
Yeah, you said that before, to your credit. You said that a couple of weeks ago. I see you just put it on X. I think you even put it in one of your columns this week. So you're right. That is way bigger than getting rid of the head coach. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Jerry, John Marin met with us last year in January at the end of the season. He said, if I'm here this time next year having the same conversation, then that's not good, right? Then there's going to be changes made. Well, it didn't last a year. It lasted 10 months. So, and obviously a lot of people didn't like the way this direction was going, the losses and all that. I think, look, Jerry, I think Brian Daboll's a good football coach, but he might be another example of a coordinator is a lot different than a head coach.
Damn right, dude. Absolutely right.
There's just so much more you have to take on your plate when you're a head coach. And, the way you are philosophy-wise, too, you got to be pretty consistent, right? Like you saw, yesterday again, going for it on a 4th down around midfield, not going for it on the 1-yard line. Very inconsistent with the philosophy as being aggressive, not aggressive, and all that stuff. I think there's just a lot of things came into play. The kicking situation over the last few years was, the personnel decisions,
Mm.
a lot
Mystifying.
of different stuff. Look, I remember when they drafted Dart and Dart started playing, right? And obviously Jackson looked the way he looks. And a lot of people thought, well, they're not going to remember this. They're not going to give it to Daboll now because he's tied to the hip with Dart.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. Sure.
They don't want to stall his progress. I remember what I said. I said, that's not true. That's not true at all. I said, you don't want to disrupt things, but if it's not going well, they'll get somebody else in here. You know what I mean? That happens all the time. So, so that was, the Giants, of course, didn't want that. They wanted Daboll and Dart to be together and continue and see this out, but it was just too much. The fan base was just going crazy. Next week is a home game, and everybody's going nuts. So, at the same time, the organization thinks very highly of Mike Kafka, and this isn't the only organization that thinks very highly of Mike Kafka.
You said he almost had the job in Seattle, right? A couple years ago.
Oh, absolutely. He, supposedly he's interviews very well when he handled the college games, like the All-Star games, whatever the hell they call them.
Yeah.
East, West, Shrine, whatever the hell he had. I forgot which one he had. He did a great job. I was told he really was impressive down there handling that. And so he will audition for this job for the next 7 games. See how he handles it. See what he might do differently, personnel wise and game management wise. And Jerry, I say this all the time. When you're a coordinator, you don't have to face the media. You don't have to. I know they do it once a week, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to face them 4 times a week.
Especially right after a game, Chris.
When you're a coordinator, right? When you're a coordinator, you don't have to make snap decisions. Go for it. Kick a field goal. What are we doing here? Take this guy. You know what I mean? You're just in there. You're calling the plays.
Yep.
If the coach tells you, "Hey, Biz, we're punting. Forget about we're gonna punt here. Don't worry about a 4th short, whatever it might be." Okay, that's it, right? Then you get ready for the next series while the defense is out there, and you're getting ready for your next series and all that stuff. It's a different animal.
Yeah.
And at times, Brian Daboll, obviously, what happened today, just had a hard time handling it. A lot of the issues, man. And one of those issues is personnel decisions. You're not just an offensive coordinator saying, okay, let me script my first 15 plays and get ready to roll. You know what I mean?
Yep.
No, it's everything. Special teams, defense, offense. You have to handle everybody in the building. Every problem that comes up in the organization is on your desk. Every problem that comes up in a locker room. I mean, it's a lot to do. And it just didn't work for Daboll. I wish him well. Look, to me, it's like, to me, it's never somebody loses their job. I know he's
it's livelihoods. It's livelihoods.
I know Daboll's set up for life, millions. I get it. I know that, but still, somebody's job is never really.
Yeah.
Unless I couldn't stand a guy. You know what I mean? I never covered a head coach I couldn't stand. It's never. It's not really a good day. But at the same time, we knew it was coming.
It's warranted. Yeah.
It was warranted.
Yep.
They made the change, and then Kafka will run the show, and then we'll see where the organization is at come January.
I got 2 questions for you, Chris. 2. First, everyone says this, and when I say everyone not named Bisignano, it seems, right? That you hear it on the radio, you hear it on social media, and again, I don't pay attention to it, but they hear it, and I just want you to address it. There's the thought that Brian Daboll was jumping up on a desk and pounding it, saying, you have to draft Jackson Dart, and that he changed Joe Shane's mind. Can you address that at all?
Yeah, that's not what happened.
Okay, good.
That's not awesome. Yeah, I mean, Daboll wanted Dart. They both did. They were both all in on Dart. If I don't know, if you think that Joe Shane didn't want him, but Daboll was jumping up and down saying, you got to take him. And Joe was like, I don't like this kid. No, they were
exactly
on him.
Okay.
Yeah, Daboll wanted him. And then Joe, doing his diligence and his scout said, yeah, they both, you're not going up, giving up draft capital as a GM just for a guy like you say, oh, my head coach wants him. I don't think he's good, but I'm going to just take him anyway because my head coach wants him.
Yeah, I've done no research on this kid, but thank you for telling me you want him. Okay, done. Okay, great.
Yeah,
good.
Look, Shane was in on him too. Shane liked him. They were both in on that, so that's what happened. Yeah. But as far as Shane, Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. Again, you want to ask the second question?
Yeah, the second one. Kafka's going to get a fair shake at 7 games. I'd love to see what he does. Listen, man. I want to see what he does without Daboll kind of overseeing him, because we like the play calling year one, right? The exotic. I still remember the Bellinger play in I think it was it week 1 where he tried to throw the ball and then he ended up running it in like some exotic plays like that, right? But if Kafka does not, if they don't retain him, you made the statement on X that this is a very desirable job because of Jackson Dart. I would also say, but also top 5 pick most likely.
Yep.
Some things to build around, right? You got Brian Burns on defense, Abdul Carter you just drafted, and again, I want to see what he does. As he progresses, like he's got to get better, but the talent's there. There's talent on this team. Scadaboo, the last draft was very good, so I would just want to add to that there's a lot. You're right. Jackson Dart is the primary reason, and it's not in years past where it was undesirable. And I don't want to take shots at him, but with Daniel Jones, it just wasn't as desirable, and it is now. It is now, right? So,
Jerry, how many opportunities does a new head coach have going to possibly head into an organization, being hired by an organization that has a franchise quarterback? I mean, one of the reasons why teams are hiring new coaches is usually because the quarterback stinks and he gets the coach fired. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this is going to be a rare opportunity for guys to interview next January, either by Joe Shane, if Joe's still here, and if you put a gun to my head right now, I'm going to say Joe's going to be here.
I agree.
Okay. To get an interview from a guy like Joe Shane and Tish and Mara and all that stuff, and you walk into a situation where you have probably your franchise quarterback. How many times can you say that, man?
Usually it's fix my quarterback, not, oh my God, look what you have here. It's fix Daniel Jones. It's fix Dave Brown. And I'm using the experience of the Giants, right? Oh, Jim Fossil, come in here and fix Dave Brown, right? So, or in Coughlin's case, it's, we're going to draft this Manning kid. I mean, it's like that. You're walking into something where this kid is not only going to be established, but he's the man. He's the franchise quarterback. Way different, like you said. So, yeah.
Right. I mean, this situation is like you guys got one and done because it was a total, like Gerard Mayo up in New England. It was a total, complete disaster. I mean, Drake May didn't get Gerard Mayo fired. Vrabel steps into a franchise quarterback. But that was a total, you know what I mean? You don't see many circumstances where you step in a new head coach and they got their franchise quarterback. You know what I mean?
You made me think about it yesterday real quick, man, when you said this team should be 5-5. And I'm like, you're right. Yeah. And that's more of an argument. Listen, man, guys, we criticize Joe Shane. Okay. A lot of the picks have not worked. A lot of the free agencies have been a disaster. Right? A lot of the moves, but the team should be 5-5. They had 4 double-digit leads on the road, at the very least 5-5. So, and the Giants made the decision that, look, the talent is there to at least be more competitive. And I kind of agree with it. Not being a yes man, we criticize Joe Shane, but I understand where it's coming from. And now, like you said, you play out these 7, and then you decide at the end of the year what you're doing.
Yeah. And Jerry, I think I wrote it for the Insider, right? In my last column, where I said the feeling in the building is that the talent is there. Did I not write that?
Yep.
Right?
You did.
I guess so, Jerry. I get so confused. I don't remember if I wrote it or I actually said it on a podcast.
No, you're right.
But I think I wrote that for the last Insider, where I said, the feeling in the building is that this should not be a 2-7 team. And now it's 2-8. By the time I wrote the column was 2-7. You know what I mean? So the feeling, in the building is that it's not a 2-8 roster. So what the hell's going on? Well, they made that decision today. Obviously, that collapsed yesterday. And from what I understand too, it's like, some people of it, like, what are we doing, Russell Wilson? Like, why wasn't Jameis the bat? You know what I mean? Like, why?
Because you said that, yes.
I said that for weeks. Yeah.
And then you put it out there on X yesterday, and it just seems like, I'm not just saying this, man. It seems like so many radio shows started talking about that, like, publicly now. Like, that was a thing because they saw it again. Like, why is Wilson number 2? And I'm getting text messages from buddies. Why is Wilson number 2? I'm like, guys, I don't know. But you're right. That was a huge blunder, and one that you just look at from outside and say, like you said, we talked about it yesterday. These are some seemingly easy decisions Daboll should have been making, and he wasn't. So that all contributed to it.
It's a whole, what, show. right? And it's come to the Giants feel it had to come to an end, and it did.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just Jerry, look, I've been saying this for 2 years now, at least, about personnel decisions are mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Game day personnel decisions, other decisions. It could be the smallest things that people are like, what are we doing? And trust me, I'm not the only one in 19. I'm not the only one saying, like, what are we doing with Ray McLeod? Why is this guy elevated playing 50 plus snaps? He's targeted one time, like, over little Jordan Humphrey. Like, who the hell's thinking that? And Jerry, believe me when I tell you, this isn't just from me. This is from people, in Giants land. Okay.
Yeah.
That question a lot of frigging decisions, and it's just come to a head, man. It's just Denver game, and then the Bears game, and then Jerry, look, last week didn't go over well. A lot of people felt the Giants should have beat the Niners because they were such a banged up squad, and they weren't really in that game, right? I mean, I know it was the final. They lost 10 by 10, right, dude?
Yeah, with 34-24, right?
Yeah, but the feeling was what? The feeling.
We said that didn't feel like a 10-point game. That felt like a 25, 30-point game.
Right. So a lot of people were like, the 49ers, I want a backup quarterback. They got injuries all over the damn place, and they're kicking the shit out of us.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on,
Right.
So look, like I said, Jerry, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, brother. You felt the same way, I think. I thought he would last the season, but that was it. People decided, no, we can't. Get Kafka in there, and we'll make a decision. Now, that being said, Jerry, we talked about a new head coach, possible, right? Let's say they decide to retain Kafka. We'll see what happens. They'll be interviewing and looking for a new head coach, but we'll see. We'll see. Mike is, like I said, Mike's still pretty high up. But we'll see. But then you have to do something with Joe Shane now. Joe's entering his last season next year.
Well, then you can't have a lame duck. You got to extend him.
Right. Yeah. So what I'm saying is you either extend him or you move on. You just a clean slate.
Right. You extend him, and then it's going to be a 2-year plan with this. And I hope it's longer. Chris, I hope it's longer with the next head coach, right? This was 4 years. Sure. So at least it wasn't 2 and done like Shermer and Judge were. But yeah, you're going to have to make it. You cannot have him go in with 1 year left on his contract. Who are you going to hire then? What coach is going to say, oh, yeah, I'll do that? Then you're going to have we kept our coach and got a new GM. No. You have to decide what you're doing with Shane.
Yeah, Jerry, the coach that'll accept that is somebody down on the bottom of the totem pole who just can't wait to get a job. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you're looking for if you're zeroing in on a few guys, nobody's taking that with Joe Shane as a lame duck. So either the Giants are going to have to make a decision of either we extend Joe 3 more years or 2 more years, whatever it might be. He's going to be here, right? And he's going to hire a new head coach, obviously with the ownership too. But he'll be in charge of hiring a new head coach with ownership. Or, we can't have a guy that's going in his last year. What coach is going to want to do that? The new GM might be here 2 years saying, "Okay, Jerry Foley, thanks for the contribution, but you're out. I'm bringing in my guy." You know what I mean? That's the way it works in this league, brother.
So, despite last year's draft and Jackson Dart, I'm just going to go on the record now. I would make the change at the end of the year and have a clean start over. But we'll see what they do. That's just me. Yeah. So
I agree with you, and because to me, it's like just too many misses with the number 1 picks. That really cripples the foundation. Yeah. It's very, very difficult to build that solid foundation. It's missing number 1 picks. And obviously they got it right with Jackson, right? Obviously.
Right.
But and I'm going to say this again. I'm sorry, everybody, but the new head coach should either be Mike Kafka for the last 7 games or whenever Jackson, say it could be 6 games. See, Jackson misses this week. Mm-hmm. Could be 6 games. Hopefully Jackson's back Sunday. I'm just saying, hopefully if he misses Sunday, he's back and he's feeling better and he's doing good for the game in Detroit.
Yep.
But the whole philosophy of Jackson Dart, and I'm not saying take his legs out of the game, but they're going to have the new head coach in 2026 is going to have to structure his offense, or if it's a defensive guy, his offensive coordinator is going to have to structure their offense to also take care of Jackson Dart.
Be careful, right? Sure.
Be careful. And I don't mean play scared.
Right.
I mean,
can't be reckless.
Be careful.
Can't be reckless.
And all that. And, and a new head coach is going to have to make a point to Jackson Dart in 2026, Jerry. And that's, hey, listen, young man, we love you. We love you aggressive and competitives. But this effing crap of you taking guys on is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Daboll seemed to take pride in Jackson taking guys on.
Right.
He's so competitive. He wants to win. I get it. He's now probably going to miss a game Sunday. The poor kid left yesterday. He wasn't right. You could see walking into the locker room. He was not right.
Yep.
We can't have this every season of Jackson getting knocked out. And you know what's going to happen, Jerry. The next one he's going to get knocked out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he'll miss a month.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very important to the new head coach, new coordinator, offensive coordinator, of taking care of Doc as much as they could, not taking away his aggressiveness. I'm not saying 3rd and 7 is nobody open, so he takes off and tries to get. I'm talking about being smart. And to me, it seemed like Daboll was taking great pride in him being so aggressive and tough.
Yep, he was.
But
I agree.
This is not Ole Miss. You're not going to get away with it in this NFL. I'm sorry, everybody, to hop in that. And all the people like Chris, I had enough of that.
No.
I don't
think
I get it,
but
I'm just looking out.
Agree with it. Yep.
Because I'm just looking out.
Yeah.
Because this kid obviously has the signs of being a franchise quarterback. I don't think we could dispute that. But, you know, like Bill Parcells says, you don't help us from the bathtub either. You know what I mean? So that being said, we'll see what the Giants do. They're going to have to make a decision on Shane at the end of the season, extend them.
Yep.
And then, you know, but like we just talked about, the new head coach, the guy that's going to get interviewed, this is going to be a very attractive job. This is going to be a very attractive job because of Jackson Dart. So that's 1+ right there.
Good stuff, man. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We will see you Wednesday. Never an easy thing. There are lives involved, like you said, but had to be done. They did it earlier than we thought.
It's a business.
And we'll see where it goes. And I'm rooting for Mike Kafka. I hope Mike Kafka goes 7-0 in those 7 games. I do. Make things a lot easier, but we'll see what happens.
Like I said, Jerry, it's a production business, right? I say this all the time. And the NFL is a production business.
Yeah.
And if you're not producing, you might lose your job. And that's what happens.
And it's going to be for the next head coach as well. It's not going to be, we'll give you time. Oh, no. This is different. We got the guy. We have the quarterback. You have talent. You got to start winning. Let's go.
Oh, Jerry Foley. 100% correct. I mean, the new guy who comes either be Mike, if he does really well and they decide to keep him, or Cliff Kingsbury, or whatever the hell it might be.
That's the one.
Okay, whoever it might be.
Chucky.
Guess what? Jackson Dart's in year 2. You got Malik Neighbors. You got talent on defense. You got this. Dude, you're not here to get a 1-year honeymoon. It's here to win.
That's right.
You're not, right? It's not like the new guy's going to be drafting his quarterback. Okay, you got to give him time. No
Dart
time. Has had time. Dart's ready to roll in 2026. You are here to win football games.
Yep. Chop. Start winning. Let's go.
Chop. So that was a good point, Jerry. Good point by you, man, because absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
What happened? What was that?
No, I said thanks. Thank you.
Oh, I thought I was missing something. I was like, what the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
So, yeah, absolutely, brother. 2026, the new coach. You better hit the ground running. We're thinking playoffs. We got Jackson Dart.
Love it.
Sorry, folks. Tell me it's not true. And like I said on the podcast yesterday, think about it, everybody. Think about the losses. Am I insane for saying this team could be 5-5?
Oh, and that's when, real quick, let me just, one more thing. When Sean O'Hara and Carl Banks in a post-game show say, after Kansas City, this team's not off, they're proving to be right with these losses, the way they're losing. You know, I know there was a lot of criticism about company men and all that shit. Sorry to say that. But you know what? They're not wrong. And you know what, guys? Sometimes you trust the guys who played the game. They were right. We're not far off. That's it. That's all I got for that.
Yeah. So
anyway,
so see you during the week. Obviously, breaking news here at the Insider. Brian Daboll has been relieved of his services. So Mike Kafka gets the job. Joe Shane will keep at his job, obviously. And we'll see what happens with DC and all that stuff. So take care, everybody. Talk during the week. Bye-bye.
Sundays are Giant days. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.